What's good, Travelhourljm fam? This is your boy Matt. We are back with another episode. I got my co-host here, Jock. Also got our special guest, Daryl. How's everybody doing today? Just want to check in before we get started in this conversation. How's it going? How's the weather? How your mom and them doing? How's everything going?
I can start off, man. Shoot, like, life is good. Life is good. I cannot complain. I am grateful. I am blessed, rich, inside out. Like, everything is good, man. It's honestly, like, I would say after, you know, actually really getting back into travel, it's just really good to be back in the travel space and to really be around other fellow travelers and be able to experience more life outside of the States, man. So, overall, humble and blessed, man.
Definitely appreciate you pulling up on us. Jock, how's everything your way?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I can't complain. Like I said, I'm doing well. Just feeling really energized going into 2026. So just been excited to be back, man, in the States and get some work done, but also understanding that I'm ready to gear up and get ready and get back on the road, bro.
Sure, I feel it. All right. So, like I said, we back for another episode. Kind of want to paint the scene. We definitely want to allow our guest to introduce himself, but in his introduction, I want him to kind of explain who he is, where he came from, all the good things, what inspired him to travel, what is one thing, that keeps him wanting to go and travel, and I guess how we're all connected. And then we'll get into how you all had a dope, amazing time over in Brazil.
Definitely, man. Sounds good. What's going on, fam? My name is Daryl Harris. I am from Knightdale, North Carolina. To be quite honest, what got me into travel was my grandfather. So, being that I grew up in a small town, I grew up in Wendell, that's like right next door to Knightdale. He was like, "Hey, man," he like, "It's some good living out there. I need you to go out there and experience it. Get away from this little town. Go out there and live your life." And from there, I just started going everywhere. So, started my first trip in Mexico, and then after Mexico, it was just on and rolling. So it's like when that travel bug bites you, it's gonna get a nice chunk out of you along with that money too. So beware if you have not traveled. If you get bitten by that bug, it's a done deal.
Sure,
Facts. Facts.
for sure. And then we also want to mention Daryl is a graduate of the oldest HBCU in the South, the mother HBCU in
Yes,
the South,
sir.
the Shaw University. And so that's how all of our paths have crossed. It's just amazing to see how those connections that you make in your undergraduate years can also pretty much span a lifetime. And
Facts.
so definitely want to appreciate you for hopping on, taking the time out of your schedule. And just to chop it up with us, we're looking forward to an amazing episode. One question that we typically try to ask all of our guests that we have on the podcast: why would you say that it's important for Black people, Black men, to continue to engage and to try to plan their trip and to embark on their travel journey?
So far as okay, so honestly, okay, so just when it comes to black men in general, or we can say just men, is we do not reward ourselves at all. We always put ourselves last. Like we always putting everybody else in front of us. I understand, like, well, we're held, to be accountable for things. We have responsibilities and things like that. But the main thing that we do not do as a whole is reward ourselves. And it's almost like when we reward ourselves, it's in the sense that we almost feel bad for that. And it's like, no, go out here, travel, experience the world. Because for me, when you get into a different social environment, different neurons in your brain activate because you have not been in this type of area. So different parts of yourself is going to start to come to surface, and then you're going to start learning things about yourself. So if you're able to go out here and travel, even if you just go to the next state, even if you go to the next town, you'll be able to discover things about yourself that you did not know existed. So if you want to get to fully know yourself, I always suggest any man or anybody get out here and travel because you will learn things you have not known about yourself for decades. And then you're going to end up going into a better quality of life because that's the thing when it comes to travelers in general. Like people always like, why are you so happy? Like, why are travelers always just smiling? And it's like, if you see what's out here, and especially like if you go into these countries with sense of gratitude. Like even some of the things that we complain about, that's something that some people are praying about in some of these places. So you get into a different mode of gratitude because it's like, okay, I don't have the newest car. Oh, I'm not in the newest apartment. I don't have the newest house. But meanwhile, you see where somebody goes back to, even here in the States. It just it gives you again that different perspective of what wealth looks like, what someone's daily routine looks like. And when you start comparing it to yourself, it's like, "Oh, I got it good." Yes, you do, bro. It's like, yes, you do. That's why I say all around, it just develops you into a better person and a better human being. That's what travel does.
Sure. And I definitely appreciate that because I think all of us have encountered people who have never left the city, nor let alone the state that they were born in, right? And just being able to go out and see that the world is a lot larger than just a city. If you go 15 to 45 minutes down the road, you're in a whole different city, different county, whole different atmosphere, whole different vibe, and it's a whole different experience. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, we will die on the hill saying that we need to get out and experience the world. I always say the world is large and is waiting for us to come explore it. So definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, I agree, man. I thank you for sharing that because my biggest thing, I've been looking at stuff lately, and one of the things that I did notice is that a lot of people don't notice, but suicide rates are amongst for black men are the highest they've ever been, and nobody is talking about that, bro. I've spent some time in Louisiana, and it was a young man, Kyron Lacy, star wide receiver over at LSU, right, getting ready to go to the NFL, sign his big contract or get his mama out the hood and do his thing. And he was a really like good dude. And some stuff went down and he was accused saying, saying for like some vehicular manslaughter, man. Terrible case. And it came to find out, once they found out the facts of the case, that it wasn't even his fault, right? The accident wasn't caused by him. However, they said, one night, the young man let the walls close in on him and he took his own life. This dude was super young, man. And I think a lot of people don't understand. It's like, we always talking about checking your strong friends and what I'm saying, God, like I don't want to be on your strongest soldier list for 2026 because I really don't. But what I will say though is like you gotta find some type of outlet. And I always tell black men this, right? Outside of being a provider, who are you? Because once that title is taken away from you, bro, like you might be left with nothing. So you always got to take some time and pour into yourself and figure out like how to move, bro. So I think me and Daryl, we was talking about this all the time, like just waking up in Airbnb out and really have these conversations, man. Like it's more than life than just being a provider. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's people fail to realize like how therapeutic travel really could be, right? Like I know all of us probably can attest the same. Like it's something different once like you know, it's like going through hell trying to pack, trying to make sure you got everything. But the moment your foot crosses that threshold at the airport, let alone getting in the plane, it's just like something switches. And then it's like, I worry about all that when I get back. But even having the opportunity to be on trips, like you said, you doing solo travel, you really gotta have time to sit with yourself and to process certain things. And it's like travel can be very therapeutic. And I think people just have to really lean into that and not get it confused with escapism. We're not saying that you need to escape your problems. Sometimes you do. Look, sometimes you just need to get up and go, like, I'll worry about that when I come back. But taking the time to go on that trip, treat yourself, like Daryl was saying, treat yourself, allow yourself to just breathe, not have to worry about meeting this end, not having to worry about, all these things that we have to worry about on a day-to-day basis, and just being in a space where you have no commitments or obligations.
Yeah, and P, I feel you on that one. I'll say this. It's been a long time coming, right? I remember 2016, I wanted to like back in the day, like I wanted to go to the Olympics in Brazil. And one of the reasons why I was like Brazil was always high on my list was because there was this opportunity to um to really go to a country where like there's hella black people. Most of the time when I'm traveling, like you might be in a situation where you in a place and you stick out like a sore thumb and everybody's looking at you. And it may not be like they're looking at you like, oh, this is damn, like I don't really see people who look like you on a day-to-day basis, so I'm looking. However, Brazil popped up and we got a chance to go with Black Travel Summit and come down to Brazil. Daryl, I know we talked about like just wanting to get down there for so long, but one of the things about Brazil is super interesting, right? There are it's one of the it's the blackest country outside of Africa. So when you talk about Brazil, you have to understand that over 5 million enslaved ancestors were brought there, right? And that's a ton of people. Then on top of that, their population is almost over 50% people of African descent, right? So you got a lot of different stuff going on. Daryl, we pull up in Brazil. It's the group. It's a trip minute of the group chat. What was your thoughts when you first pulled up in Salvador when you got to Brazil?
And listen, when I stepped off and only thing I was seeing was us, I said, wait a minute, yo. I said, ain't no way I feel like I'm back at home. And that's honestly like the way it felt because again, like when it comes to the image of Brazil, like the Afro Brazilians really aren't shown. Like they show the sports and things like that. And when they do show Afro Brazilians, it's typically in a negative image. And that's honestly something that we can relate to here in the States because anytime you see a black man when it comes to an image that's perpetuated through media, it's always in negativity. So that's why I always advise people that if you want to really get to know the people of anywhere, you go and meet them. Don't depend on media.
Yeah.
Meeting people and like actually getting there, like it definitely just felt a sense of comfort. I mean, like that's why I was getting all the footage of our Airbnb in the local area because I knew people wasn't gonna believe that we felt safe there. Like I knew they wouldn't feel that because they're just looking around like oh I wouldn't stay here, and it's like okay you don't have to. It's like but when we was there, we got the full experience. I mean, people knew that we were foreign, but also, like, they was willing to work with us. Like, we didn't like John definitely knew more Portuguese than me. I was struggling, like I was completely struggling, and yet people were still working with us so we could communicate effectively. Versus if you were to come here and you see somebody that's foreign here in the States, they're always getting judged. They're always like, you need to to know English. There, it was just
Yeah.
like, okay, you know Portuguese, and like you don't know Portuguese, and they're way more hospitable, man. So it definitely felt like I was back at home. Like once we had stepped in, got comfortable, hit the streets, it felt like home, bro.
Yeah, I could definitely feel you on that. It's different. Salvador Bahia is a special place, and if you ever get the chance to go to Brazil, I know like definitely go to Rio. Definitely go to Rio. Not saying don't go to Rio, but if you step foot on Brazilian soil, you need to take your ass up to Salvador Bahia. I'm telling you, because when I tell you, I'm out there walking the streets. I'm like, bro, I see my grandma out here. Like I see my auntie out here. I see African women wearing traditional head wraps with garments on, and they got the fruit basket on top of their head. And I'm just like, man, we don't even speak the same language, but we bonded. So I know when we got there to Salvador, it was a lot of stuff going on. I know we touched down, we grabbed some food, and then from there, we kind of checked out the scenes from the Airbnb. But what you think about like just touching down in Salvador? What was your first just feeling of being on Bahia? Because everybody says it's magical, but what you think about it, bro?
That's why I'm at home. I am at home. That's exactly how I felt, man. It really felt like I was back in Nightdale, and it's just like, hey, I'm surrounded way, or even like my folks are there originally, also from Wilson as well, and it's just again, it just really felt like I'm back at home. Like I'm not over here, like looking over my shoulders, like oh, they know I'm American, like they gonna try to rob me, they gonna try to rob me. And again, I'm not trying to take away from anybody who has had a bad experience. But only thing I'm saying is like my experience, it felt more comfortable and it felt at home. So again, like the times like even when we went to go grab some food, like folks are just they didn't think that we was American. Like they just thought that we was locals. So everybody speaking to us in Portuguese. So again, you know what I'm saying? So it's like again, like it felt like we was a part of the community. So I was ready to go back. I can't lie, bro. I'm definitely ready to go back there, man.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to like do it in that order. So for me, I know I went to Sao Paulo solo for a week. And then Daryl, you flew into Rio and then flew up to Salvador, and then we met in Salvador. So we got to meet up in Salvador, which was cool. And I think that's a great starting point when you visit Brazil. And just being there, I know it was just different because it's like you feel it. Like, Michael Jackson, film, they don't really care about us, his video there. It was Salvador actually used to be the capital of the whole entire country of Brazil. It was the first capital, and the reason why is because that was the first point where they brought us over there and they dropped us off there. So they've always made it a point to hold on to the culture. You can tell that when you're in the streets, like trying the food, like you eat a moqueca, and you like, man, this tastes like something I'm gonna eat in New Orleans. Or the aunties like they frying up the fritters and stuff like that, and it's like it's crazy how close to like the Caribbean culture is to like Brazilian culture to the African diaspora. Like one thing we gonna do is we gonna hold on to our culture. And I think that's one thing I appreciated about Brazil. But as we move forward and you look at it, we got a chance. I'm gonna tell you this shit lined up perfectly, bro. Because while we was there, I remember I hit you up. Daryl was like, bro, like Afro punk going on while we down there. You was like, word. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what's up? He like, shoot, let's get these tickets then. So Daryl, just tell me like what was like your first time coming down to Afro Punk and what the vibes were.
Them vibes was amazing. Okay, now, fam, like when I tell you, like I used to like Dreamville Festival, like not too far from where I live, and I've been there to a lot of them. I've been to many concerts, and again, it's just like the atmosphere. It was just so welcoming there. Like everybody's out there to see, like they had the whole Afro theme. Nice. I mean, like everybody was looking. I mean, like they fresh out of Star Wars, bro, and or like fresh out of Wakanda, for real, for real. And it was just very welcoming. Like that was the biggest thing for me, And even for me, it was like when we started getting closer up to the stage, like people weren't trying to block you out or any of that. People was just like, we trying to move forward. It's just folks just letting you slide by. Like that was the biggest takeaway from me though, because again, like being at Dreamville and a whole lot of other concerts, the closer you get to
Yeah.
the stage, the closer ain't nobody trying to either let you in or even let you out. Like folks would just pretty much lock you up in there. Versus when we was there, it's just like people were still coming and going, and if you needed space, people would give you space. I mean, like that's again like socially that was different. So that's why I was just like, okay, that's I like that. But most of all, seeing the kissing culture first-handedly. That was that was different. That was definitely different because I heard about it, but then actually, again, like seeing it in play, I was just like, and then even like I didn't even know how to like even respond to some of the looks I got because again, like I'm still learning about it. But I was just like, that's dang. So they just kiss, just move. I'm like, okay. So like that was some of the things I did take away from Afropunk. Overall, man, like that was an amazing experience, man.
You know what, man? There's something to be said about that. Their culture is so accepting, and I've never been like around like that many black people who are so accepting and so progressive in my life. I don't think because you have the kissing culture where you might be like getting like a little selfie footage at the concert. We had Afro Punk vibing, and somebody's about to get their face taken off because they kissing. And I'm talking about we not talking about a peck on the cheek. They is going in like they the only two that exist in the world. And then, and then everybody's like, minding their business. Yeah, go ahead, do your thing. At first, I'm like, what the hell is going on? But second, it's like, you know what? Like, what's wrong with if you like somebody showing your expressions and showing your emotions? Like, and I appreciate that. I really did. It was also crazy to see too that when you look at it, I remember the first day we went to the beach. We walked down to the beach and we sat there on the beach. We went to the local beach the first day. There was like a little girl. She probably was like a preteen, if that, right?
Mhm.
And she had on a thong bikini. And like me and Daryl just sitting there chilling, and she with her family just playing around, and we just sitting there talking. I was, bro, like, besides my individual thoughts, it's crazy that we live in a country that nobody would ever feel comfortable letting their daughter go to a beach with a thong bikini when she was a kid. But nobody was bothering that little girl. Like she was just living her best life.
Nah, bro. Like honestly, like that was another thing that I had taken away too, because the fact of the matter is, and it's not over sexualized. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize because it's like if we were to upload a whole lot of the stuff that we did see, like out in that beach or even out in Copacabana, people would just be like, oh, god damn, look at her ass. Oh, that ass, fat ass. Oh, yeah. But it's like, there is just like, that's the norm. I mean, and honestly, even digging a little deeper, even when you think about like, with certain, like, I would say within the black household, this is going to be a little rough, fam. But it's like how they be saying like little girls need to dress a certain way around men. And I've always thought the case is like, how come this man doesn't have no freaking discipline not to try to be enticed by this little girl? Those have always been my thoughts when it comes to that subject. And for me, clearly the men down there have that fortitude and they have that discipline, because you didn't see these men out here like just looking all over for these little girls, or hell, like any other women out there that have no thong bikinis, because that's the norm down there. So it's just, again, like just being able to see that first-handedly and see how they operate within those type of environments. It was different. Like you said, like it was different, because you go out here in a thong bikini, like anywhere in the States, it's different. I mean, unless you're like actually on a nudist beach. Other than
Yeah.
that, everybody's gonna be out here just, "Oh, I'm trying," like they're gonna be doing all the craziest of stuff. But down there, it's normal. That's social norm down there.
So socially norm, and it took me some getting used to, but it made me realize, like, sometimes how conservative we can be. And speaking for myself, like that was very different because it's you on the beach going to get your morning run in, and everybody minding their business, and you like, God damn, man, nobody got no damn clothes on. Like, even dudes, the dude, you might see a dude in the thong. Let's just be real, it's Brazil, but they don't care. If they with it, they got a speedo on, they might have a thong on, the girl might have a thong on, everything out everywhere. They just having a good time. So it's just beautiful to see like people really like enjoying themselves. And once you like be in the culture, it's like, yeah, what's really the big deal? Mind your business and go about it. So I definitely do appreciate that. And even like when we got a chance to pull up to everyday people, it was the energy in the air at that party was just like so different. I remember when we was waiting on the we was in the Airbnb that night, and we like, bruh, we got the windows open and like so you can feel the little ocean breeze coming off. And do you remember we saw like the little club down the street? It's popping. We was like, it's gonna be a good night. And then we ended up pulling up. I think this is both of ours like first time going to an everyday people party because it is a circuit party. So they start in the US up in New York, but then now they turn into a circuit party. And so they travel all around the world doing these everyday people parties. So as this again our first time experience it, what was your thoughts walking into everyday people? What the vibes like, man?
Man, them honestly, like them vibes felt like an island fete, to be quite honest. Like that's the best thing that I can compare it to, because everybody came there to party. Ain't nobody come in there for no BS. Everybody came in there to have a good time. And anytime, let's be real, anytime where that you in the States and there's a club like that where you packed out like that, there's always a fight that's about to break out. Never fails. It's always gonna be some type of beef, and there's always gonna be some type of violence to take place. That's just what it is. For us to be pretty much just almost cheek to cheek with everybody, and everybody is chilling or having a good time, like that was different. I mean, from the people really like, hopping on the stage, they going up there having a good time. People outdoors, people out there getting drinks, getting folks kissing each other. I mean, it was just like everybody was just there to have a good time. And with those vibes of having a good time, like it was felt. So I mean, like if people want to dance, they're dancing with you. I mean, again, it's like I'm knowing a little bit of Portuguese, but yeah, it's like let's dance, let's do this, and it's just everybody came out there to have a good time. So with everyday people, like the DJs, ridiculous. I mean, like they're playing some of their, of course, like the local stuff there, but then also they started blending in stuff from the States. They were playing Amapiano, Afro beats, old school hip hop. I'm just like, yo, like they are coming with it. And the thing is, everybody was in there reciting the words too. That's what took me back, especially like when they had whipped out the freaking fans, talking about where them fans at. I said, bruh, ain't no way I'm hearing about these fans 4,000 plus miles away from home. Again, like folks come out there to have a good time. And then like with that type of time, it reminded me of being in the trail rides, because, everybody come out there to line dance or have a good time for the most part. And like that was the same level of vibes that was in that place. So everyday people abroad, y'all killed it, man. Y'all freaking killed it. Please continue to do so. Please continue to do so, because when I was seeing people, especially because matter of fact, we was waiting on our Uber. Like people was just like they were just out there just still having a good time, laughing. Everybody just waiting on their Uber to come, bro. So like that's how you know you had a good night. Everybody just come like they coming out they shoes, walking barefoot. It's like it's time to go home. So that's how you know everybody was having a good time up in there, man.
You know, they get to pat that weed, taking those shoes off. So, you know, so look, girl, I'm about to go home. Like, shit, all right, you know. Yeah, beautiful time. I think Salvador is one of those places where it just leaves an impression on you. And I'm glad that we got a chance to go. I think it was cool to also like experience like two different sides of the city. So I know the Airbnb that we got, the first one that Daryl you got us, man, it was pretty much closer to like Central. And you know, it was a black neighborhood, majority black folks. Most of the folks, you know what I'm saying, they ain't got it. They poor, you know what I'm saying? And so when we looked at it, it was, but when I tell you that every side I used whew, I miss waking up and walking outside the Airbnb and smelling cooking that food.
Boom.
Because when I tell you, yeah,
Shoot, all thing I need to see just come from the side. Hinduism. That's the only thing I need to see for real. Cause yo, like when it was somebody auntie, somebody grandma, somebody uncle. I mean, like everybody just had like whether it was their own restaurant or whether it was one of those side concessions. Man, it was just like we didn't go hungry out there. Cause what was it like? Like that burger spot that we had hit up a few times late night, bro. Like, yo, and I'm talking like, and like what I mean, y'all, like, first off, like, look, first off, food quality. Food
yeah,
quality there was just ridiculous. Now, of course, that we know, like, there's some stuff that, that's allowed, in our food or whatnot, but there you can taste the difference. I mean, like that burger definitely tasted like it was like fresh from the slaughterhouse. And then even being down there, like there was actually a slaughterhouse that was like a block away from where we were staying. So it's just again, quality of food, everybody down there with community. You could tell like even with that restaurant that was right next door to us. Like we seen the same people come through around the same time every day. It was like people got off of work, they went straight to the restaurant. Real tight knit community, and that's what I was saying. Like earlier, that's when people started to get to know us because we started coming out more. Like we was out every day, so people started recognizing us as well. So again, man, that was community, man. That was definitely a sense of community, and honestly, I really hope one day that we could be able to adapt that here in the States, man. Because like that level of community, man, like, of course, everywhere is not perfect. We're not trying to make anything perfection, but you can tell like the sense of community that was in that place. Everybody knew everybody. If you needed something, you can tell like that was this person, that was this person. We need that stateside. That's all I'm saying.
no, that's a fact. I think it was just an amazing time was had. And I think when you're traveling and you still get a slice of home while you traveling, especially for black people. When we travel, it's different because a lot of times, you know, we go places and we stick out. But to go someplace and like we don't even speak the same damn language, but it's still that common bond. It's a beautiful thing. And that's one thing I love about just being down there with the Afro-Brazilian culture and being with folks who look like being with my black people because they always, you know what I'm saying, that food gonna be fire, the hospitality gonna be there. And, you know, so they're gonna do everything with love. And I appreciate that so much. So, you know, after we man, shout out to my guy at the burger spot, because I'll tell you like this. Bro, I'm not even like a hamburger to me to death guy. Like I want meat and potatoes, bro. Like, and give me some put something green on the plate. Excuse me, but when I tell you, and hold up, let's pause here. This is my problem. I'm about to go on a rant. When you make my damn hamburger, I need that shit to look like the damn picture. Don't be giving, you got this beautiful picture and then you hand this raggedy ass burger nobody want to eat. Goddamn cheese falling off the side, the lettuce all over your lap as soon as you open up the wrapper and stuff, man. Come on. When I tell you, like, we would sit out there and it's like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and this man is taking his time making that burger, bro. And then he just wrap it up in a little paper and it's like half folded so you can just bite right into it when you get it. And I'm talking about that thing just fire. I had to double back.
So speaking of food, since y'all talking about food and I ain't get this big about just looking at food, what would be your top 2 dishes that you had while you were in Brazil? You just either do one in Salvador, one in Rio, or just 2 top 2 that y'all definitely was like, "I'm glad I went and got this."
Okay, so dang, it was a lot. Dang, kind of got brain fog a little bit. Like that spot that we ate at Afropunk where they had interviewed us. Them little
Yeah,
I can I for the life of me I forgot the name of that I forgot the name of that food. But
it's like a carge or something, but I'm probably butchering the pronunciation.
yeah, and so basically like that was something like an entree that dates back all the way to Benin, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, it was Benin that it dated back to. And they basically kept they had kept the secret like the recipes like since slavery times. And honestly, like what it like so in reference of like the states, like it basically tasted like something like it would be like grits with with shrimp along with like a strong spicy kickback. So one like that was good, and folks, like if you know what it is, please just comment it because I'm tearing it up. Two for me was definitely the steak. Like the steak, like when it comes to the steaks, and I've been to different Brazilian steakhouses. No, like down there, like that is definitely the source of it, and that stuff was 10, I would say 100 out of 10 to be quite honest, because what was it like the other restaurant we had went to, and they actually bought the dishes from the pots. So we got the dish straight from the pots. They did not even bring it like it plated it something else. They actually plated it live right then and there on the right there on our dinner table. I was just like, yo,
You
I am
said, "Make
really
my
taking
plate so I know it's real."
Listen, straight off the boat, you know? No, that's some real stuff. I like when we went to that restaurant, it was a Boteca something, but it's a popular restaurant down there in Rio. And of course, one of the national dishes in Rio is well, in Brazil is feijoada. And so feijoada is pretty much a good old pot of beans that grandma gonna cook on Sunday. You know, grandma done soaked them beans the night before, and then says she got that salt pork that she about to put in the season that shit out. That's pretty much what like feijoada was. So they got the black beans and the seasoned with pork, and then they serve it over rice. And so that people kept telling me that you have to try it. Traditionally, they eat it on weekends because it's a heavy ass dish. So once you eat it, you're gonna have the eyeless. It's gonna put you down. So the feijoada was fire. So I definitely did get some of that, and I enjoyed it. The other thing too, I would say, like being in Bahia, their seafood is really, really good. So one day we was at a restaurant by the beach, and Daryl and we tried some moqueca, which is like this. It's almost like a stew with like seafood in it and all types of vegetables in it, and then you serve it over rice, and it's fire. It's like it reminds me so much of like Creole food. So the food was amazing, man. I can keep going on and on, but I'll definitely shut up there. But yeah, like the food, I had some really, 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 really good food. I mean, from like the upper end restaurants to like the street food, bro, the churrascos,
yeah.
my God.
That was definitely like one of my favorite street food, man. Like that, like again, like that made no sense. Like you can tell, like that was somebody auntie, like, whether that was her full time job or whether she does that on the side when she's off. I think it was maybe her and her daughter or her niece, whoever. But it was just they were out there. That was some of the best freaking food, man. So if you ever catch yourself down in Brazil, make sure you come with an empty stomach because you will love almost every dish that's cooked down there. Because like you were saying with that seafood, man, like honestly, like that fish tasted like, I mean, it was caught that morning. Like it honestly did. Like it definitely tasted fresh. But also it was with the rice too. Cause like the rice there, it was very filling, but also flavorful. I don't even know how they even like flavored it. That's what it's something I definitely want to learn because you didn't see no spices up on the rice, but yet it still tasted flavored. So like that was definitely like one of the biggest takeaways for me was the rice.
Yeah, they was using that coconut milk in that rice. You could definitely tell like it had like a certain taste to it. And it's so funny, like when you look at the diaspora, one thing that I always credit black folks is like how within 400 years that you still find ways to hold on to your tradition after going through everything we went through, right? And when you touch the Caribbean, when you touch South America, when you touch the United States, when you go to the motherland and you look at this food, it's like, man, like this stuff look very, very similar. We're using some of the same techniques and it's been preserved. So, it's a beautiful thing to see. And I think that's what's beautiful about Brazil. It kept reminding me of that. I know we spent some time up here, but then we also caught the flight and we had an early flight out that morning. Crack of dawn. I think we have a 6 a.m. flight. And Brazil is huge, by the way. It's a really big country. So we leave in Salvador to fly down to Rio. And that flight still was close to 3 hours. And we still flying within the country. So Daryl and I hopped up. We got the Uber ready to go. We end up rolling out to the airport. And we get there bright and early, but everything was seamless. We walked straight through and got to it. Uh, but Daryl, what was it like when we pulled up in Rio, bruh?
First thing first, like Rio's airport is huge. Rio's airport is huge, y'all. So be prepared to walk. Cause I mean, like it was almost like getting to the Uber, like that was almost like a 15-20 minute walk onto the other side of the airport. So again, for the heavy packers, you're going to be carrying a whole lot if you're gonna be walking over to the Ubers. But honestly though, like especially like once we started commuting over to our Airbnb, like the scenery, it definitely hit because I'm sitting over here like, bro, like I'm legitimately looking at these places that I've seen in movies and documentaries. I'm like, wow. Like I just had to just sit back and just definitely like take in like I'm like finally here. But yeah, but especially also like the traffic and how they conduct their traffic down there. Because so when it comes to like the motorbikes and the mopeds down there, they're actually able to cut through traffic. So like they can ride right in between the lanes. So honestly, it's like every time we just look left and right, it was just like that's all you would hear. So again, it's like that was different to see because of course, like depending on the state that you in, like bikes can't like cut in between cars, but there it's like everybody just knew everybody, so it was like you gonna cut through, you just gonna cut, and they was just bobbing and weaving. So like that was definitely like that was different to see. That was definitely different to see.
Yeah, I think somebody said like Rio looks like what's the name? Avatar. Like you see it's just like jungle, mountains, beach, city, just all in one. And I was just like, you know what? This does look like Avatar. And I think, when you got to Rio, it was like, okay, like he was like, okay, we going to like a nice, like, cool town, right? And then boom, Rio, like, hey, we in the big leagues, y'all, big city. You got the traffic, everybody's moving everywhere. And so we get there, we pull up, we're staying in our first Airbnb is in Lenny. So that's down near Copacabana. What happens when we check into the Airbnb? We have a little situation. But Daryl, let's just talk through like what that looked like when we was pulling up to Lemmy and we quickly realized like we were not in El Salvador anymore.
All right, fam. So first off, like we had gotten there a day late because the flights, like the flights from Salvador to Rio, like they were a little pricey on the weekends. So it was like, you know what, like let's just go ahead and just push it back a day. It was like, all right, cool. So we did that. So we arrived there and waiting to talk to the Airbnb host and everything. So things kind of slow. So I'm just, looking through our conversation so I can know like, the combination and all that good stuff. So when I got there, I realized also that my service, like it was still like connecting to the towers down there, so it was kind of like still a little spotty. So I was just like, ugh, So I'm still waiting for everything to come through the phone. So we sit there for a little bit, and then some local folks that was there, they try to shoo us away. They were just like, no, 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 no. I was like, huh? It just kept trying to just shoo us away. I was like, yo, we got an Airbnb here. The fuck? They're like, oh, a mannequin. Hey, let him in, let him in. I said, hold up. So that's how y'all treat Afro Brazilians down there, ain't it? Like that was when that was really when it hit me right then and there. And so once we had, well, no, I'm gonna jump subject, but that's when it clicked with me that how we're treated all across the world. It's like again like that negative stigma when it comes to black people. That thing is definitely global, and I'm not over here trying to over exaggerate or nothing. I mean seriously, like only thing we did was just walk up there, and they literally tried to shoo us away until they realized that we were American, and then it's like we got to treat them different. No, 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 no. So that lets me know if this was one of the local guys that was around here, like that's how you would have treated them. So that was a huge takeaway for me, to be quite honest, to experience that.
Yeah, I think that was interesting to see because Bahia was just overwhelmingly just super black. Like where you went, everybody was black. And what was interesting when we got to Rio was quickly how we realized was like, how the hell is this country like over 50% of the population is black, but when we're in Copacabana Beach area, we only see black people like going to work in like Serbian positions. So you a cook or like, what I'm saying, you a bellhop at one of the hotels in the area, but you don't see like black people living in the apartment buildings like one that we were staying at. And so then we would see like little kids on the street and what they was telling us, like, the little homies, little black kids, they would come down the hill from the favela that was hidden behind the high rise. And they would like, try to shoot them kids away. But me and Daryl on the street one day, like at the corner store, and that little homie started hollering at us, and he spoke 3 different languages. He done hit us in English, he done hit us in Portuguese, and bro was like, yeah, I speak a little bit of Spanish too. We like, man, I gotta bless him. I gotta bless little homie. But it was a very much, and I'm not saying like, hey, don't go to Rio. No, what I am saying is that Rio was just more segregated as far as like where you will find your people at. Daryl, what did you think about like just being down in that area as far as the Copacabana area? What was first impressions being a block away from Rostam Beach and all that good stuff at the Airbnb though?
Man, honestly, man, it was beautiful. Like to sit here and to be able to just walk down the street like 5 minutes and it's like boom, you're right there on the beach. Like it was like to me, like that was definitely like a beautiful experience. I mean, and even for those who are kind of like, I don't want to do an Airbnb. Like you had plenty of hotels over there. Like Hilton was literally next door. It was what the I think Renaissance was down there, like a little
Yeah.
further down Copacabana. So for those who would much rather not stay in the Airbnb and stuff like that, it's still plenty of hotels and stuff down there that you can be able to stay in. But definitely like it definitely gave like the big city vibe. So definitely like like the New York type of vibes, like everything is moving fast because it was nothing but traffic down there. And we definitely got to experience that part because we had plans to go certain places. So it was like we look on the Uber app, it's like, oh, it's going to take 20 minutes. All right, cool, whatever. And then we like literally check it like, 5, 10 minutes later, like that 20 minutes then turned to an hour and a half. I'm just like, yo, like you serious? So
To go how
that
many miles?
Bro.
what, man?
Like it might be like an hour to go like 9 kilometers, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And like I
That's
mean,
crazy.
and traffic was definitely back to back. And then like that's where the guys with the bikes come into place because you can also order them on the Uber apps. So if you really wanted to get to a certain place like on a timely manner, then you would get one of those motorbike Ubers. Like and they're also listed within the Uber app as well.
Have you been on a motor taxi, Daryl?
Nah, I didn't do it.
Matthew,
I
I remember you
have.
got on one in Bali, bro. How was that, man? Because
It's actually not a bad experience. I had to go ahead and give me the extra large bike just to make sure we had no mishaps. But definitely, it's a great experience. It's easy, like you say, you can bob and weave through traffic. What would have been a 30-minute drive for me was like a 15-minute ride, if that. Um, it's definitely worth taking. Very safe.
got to get my mind right because I guess we're gonna end up right on one of those when we go to Bali, and I'm not looking forward to it. You even Bob one time with this 300 on the back of that thing, we gonna have a problem, brother. Like, hold on.
You just hold on. They got a helmet for you. They got a helmet if you want it. You ask for it. Just hold on and hold on to the back of the seat and ride out.
But yeah, you definitely saw a lot of the moto taxis just moving and skirting throughout traffic down there, and that was very different because like where we stayed at. was like right on like the main street to get one of the main streets to get out of the beach area. So there was like traffic literally like 24/7, and you just hear like the motor taxis. So yeah, it was interesting. Like I would say this, like Rio, them people do not sleep. And sometimes I be thinking, do y'all have jobs? Because why is the beach packed on Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Can
Facts.
you just talk about like the culture of Rio and how like just laid back it was?
And listen, like what I tell you is like folks is out there just enjoying life. Folks is really out there enjoying life. I mean, and it's like, okay, cause yeah, cause me and Jock, like we both got up in the mornings, like did our workouts, and it's just like that's again like that was the norm down there. It's like you would see just pretty much like the beach, like it has some numbers up there, and mostly what you see is like the people was either running the beaches, or they would have like the little workout areas where they got the pull up bar, they got the dip bar, where you can just go and just get a nice little workout in, and then that's what we've seen a lot of. And then I would say getting around like midday, that's when you started seeing people like, setting up the umbrellas and all and the chairs, and they out there relaxing. So definitely I understand like, it is a tourist city, but I definitely do see that more as like the biggest like the bigger city, like again, like the New York type of vibes. And I guess like for those who are able to like, like to work in that area, and it's clear like as soon as they get off of work, they rolling right up on those beaches, because we definitely always seen a whole lot of people on that beach. It was always just traffic of people like on that walkway. Like I said, like were they on the motorbike, were they on a regular pedal bike? That walkway was always getting packed out. And other thing is like the weather too. So there, like it was kind of like a spring feeling, like like through like the day, but then when the night hit, actually, like, that's when it actually got warmer out there. It was almost like the humidity turned on. I was just like, wait, that's a little different. Cause I'm expecting like, like the daytime to be like a whole lot hotter. And I mean, again, but like it is like the time that we went, it is during the spring. It wasn't during like, like actual summer. But even still, it was just like that kind of like feel like the temperature kind of like rising humidity at night. It was just like, again, it was different. But overall, man, it's Copacabana stays packed out, man. Like folks don't sleep, they always like if it ain't a party, they eating or they lounging on the beach, man. So it was an experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely on go. I feel like it reminds me if you mix like the Miami culture with like the pace of New York, and it's just nonstop. Like you can go out on a Monday to Pedro LaSalle, and it's like a little street market at night. And I'm talking about this on a Monday night, and I'm talking about this thing is going up like from 9 o'clock to like 3, 4 in the morning. And they playing samba out there. They got the food, they got everything. It's so it's just like it's something to do. And then Tuesday, you might have to pull up to like a little samba joint, right? Like it's just lit all the time. What did you think about the nightlife out in Rio?
That nightlife is different. Like that nightlife is different. I mean, cause I like so for with the samba, like that was amazing. Like especially like, people just getting together and they just out there just samba and they having a good time. And again, it's like you can tell people go out there to have a good time. And the first like one of the nights that we did go out there, that's when we went to Casa Block. And again, like being up in the northern Rio area, it was just like I'm like, oh, this is different. It's like, oh, this where the black folks is at. It's like, all right, cool, because when old dude put us on game, we're just like, okay, like hit up Casa Block, and that was fun. Like that was a good time. And again, like they're playing their music, but also like they're blending in also our music from the States, also the music from Africa, with Afro beats. I mean, like it was different as far as like partying with the black folks, getting the full experience of Rio from the Afro Brazilians versus like when we was out there like around the Copacabana area, and it was still fun. Again, don't get me wrong, like it's still fun, but once we hit the north side and got a glimpse of that's where the Afro Brazilians were, everything turned on like we was back in Salvador.
Yeah, and that's something interesting to highlight because I feel like a lot of folks don't talk about this, right? When you see Brazil, the first thing we think of is like the steps. We talk about Christ the Redeemer, you know, the Sugarloaf Mountain and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with going to those places. Like, you know, definitely go do that, get your pictures in, have a good time. But there's so much more to the city than that. You know, one of our homies that we met down there who was studying abroad, he told us, he was like, look, the area you guys are staying is called Zona Sul. So that's no Copacabana, that's Ipanema, and that's also like Lemmy. That's this area where like you're gonna see like all the photos of the beaches and stuff, right? But he was like, when you go up north, about 20 minutes, they push all the black people, the poor black people up north to the suburbs. And so the city government actually made a move in Rio. It was like, hey, like we want to push them away from being downtown. So they pushed a lot of black folks out there and let them defend for themselves. So even when you talk about even like favelas or like these black neighborhoods, like they were put out there with no government resource. They had to like build their own houses and structures, provide their own electricity and water type stuff. But it was like what we always do. We always land on our damn feet. And so when we went up north to Maserata, which is one of the most historic black neighborhoods in Rio, when I told folks, I was like, yo, like being on that beach is like you only see black people this small little speck at Rasta Beach, or it's like you may see them in a subservient position. When we went up there, everything was black. The music, the people who was cooking, like it's just vibes. Like we don't even speak no Portuguese, but yet like we bonding with people and we saw what? Ballet Charmin. Ballet Charmy blew my damn mind, Daryl. You got to tell them about Ballet Charmy, bro.
When I tell y'all, like, I felt like I was back at home at Trail Ride, dog. I'm sitting here telling you, I mean, like, they hitting them dances, bro. And I was just like, okay, like, I could be a slide in here real quick, you know, like, learn this real quick. It's like, nah, bro. It's like, nah, like, they was legit. It was more than the two-step that they was doing out there, you know? So I was just like, dang. And it's like, when I mean, everybody came out there to do that. Bro, it wasn't nobody like, not too many people was really like hugging on the side at all. Of course, like, you know, you got, you know, some people, you know, having conversations and all, but I'm just saying, like, as a total party, everybody I came out there to have a good time, man. It was just like nonstop. So like if you can think of like cha-cha slide, you can think of biker shuffle. I mean, like you could just name like any dance that has some type of like choreography to it. They were doing every last one out there. I mean, even with the songs, like a lot of the songs actually I didn't even know that they was even I didn't know they even existed. And like these are artists that were again like that was from the States, because one song they did was by Music Soul Child, and it was a newer song. And then you had some songs that was from artists that's based in the UK. And I'm just like, wait a minute. So I'm up here just like this, holding up, waiting for Shazam to come through and update my playlist. That's all I was doing like half of the night. You know, so it was like to get out there, man, like it was like very welcoming, because matter of fact, the situation that happened with you, Jock, with the dude with the beers. Yeah. No, I'm about to say, because okay, so to put y'all, let y'all know what happened. So again, like everybody speaking Portuguese, you know, and the guy was basically like, "Hey, I need you to wash my beard," and it was like, John was like, "Huh?" And then he started talking to him again in Portuguese. He was like, "Wait a minute." He was just like my beard. It was just like, oh, okay, I got you. So basically, dude went left, went to go hit the bathroom, came back. He was like, "Hey man, if you want any drinks, you can grab them." It's just again welcoming, man. Because again, it's like anytime you see those areas, when it's blasted on any type of media, the first, honestly, the thing that I compare it to, like they make it out to be like, you know, City of God, like that film that was made in the 2000s, you know, and again, like I'm nowhere, like not denouncing like the violence that do occur around there, but still, it's just like you're trying to paint an entire population, which is half of your population out there, to be all in complete violence. Just like the conversation that you did have with that lady when she was telling you about the experience there. And it's just still again, man, it's when you're in an area like that, to give reference, it's like, because we were literally up under a bridge. So when you have like, you
Yeah.
know, when you have parties like, you know, in New York, or even some people who commented is like they were saying like, oh, like this remind me of New Orleans. They be having parties on the bridge there. Again, listen to how things are related, and yet it's a different language, but it's the same vibes, and everybody came out there to have a good time, and that's where we was at. So like I said, like when it comes to the food out there, like everybody out there, Afro Brazilian, even just standard like going to a party, of course, and like everybody got checked, but again, it wasn't nothing over the top, so it was just so for people to be foreigners, and of course, like people can tell just because especially when we start speaking. Again, it was like we were just really welcome with open arms, man. To see outside looking in, you'll see all the graffiti. You'll see the environment, and the first thing your mind is gonna go to is criminal behavior, violent behavior. But that night, a time was had. Plain and simple, a time was had out there.
And I think it's so interesting, right? And it's amazing actually, because I wasn't there, but I was there vicariously through y'all. And when I would look at the stories and I see y'all at these different social events, nightlife, and it's just amazing. It amazes me how culture transcends, like countries, right? Getting together to dance, like you said, it's like into the trail rides, right? And it's just amazing how we as diasporic people, there are still some just common similarities across the board, no matter whether you in Africa, Brazil, the States, wherever the case may be. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Brazil was an amazing place. I definitely am going back. Actually, I'm going back in April, and I wanna explore some other places too. Because as we got down there, we started just hearing about like other places to explore in Brazil because it's such a big country. But it's just it's like there's a certain type of connection you have with people who are direct descendants of people who came to their country from the transatlantic slave trade. It's like they get it. There's a connection, right? They understand like we got to get it. They have that get it out the mud mentality, and so I think that was so good to see. But then like also just seeing like the Bali Sharmi movement. The following week we went back up there. So Reese and I rode back up there, and we got to go to a samba school. Well, in the samba school, they were practicing Bali Sharmi. So we was all sitting over there like, bro, like how the hell did they know these line dances like this? And like, why do they know all this 2000 RB? Well, they were telling us the people, like a lot of heavy hitters in the movement told us like, look, when we started this, it was because we wanted people to come out to the park and have a good time. But then also too, it was like this is not just us dancing, but it's like the way to connect multiple generations with each other. So, little bro gonna know who Uncle them is, right? But then you also have the situation where she said mentally, people don't got much to look forward to, right? So for us to get together on a Sunday, come together, put some stuff on the grill and dance and have a good time without no bullshit, like you can't discount that. And that's one of the things I hope that our generation here gets back to, right? We always make that joke about like what the family cookout gonna look like, Casamigos and hookah, because don't nobody know how to cook no more. So anytime you got an opportunity to go over here and build community, like it's so dope. And it's like the lady kept telling me that we talked to down there. She was like, this is bigger than just line dancing. Even though like when we first saw it, it was like, yeah, this is dope, this is cool, but there's even a deeper meaning to it.
Honestly, you hit it on the head though, man. Because I'm sitting over here like, bro, it's like I'm about to be 38 in March. And it's like people in our generation, like you said, man, it's like we're the aunties, we the uncles now. And it's like less and less you don't see those family cookouts. You see more of a division when it comes to different generations and all. And it's like we do need that back. And personally, like that's the reason why like I'm such a huge advocate for these trail rides right now, because I honestly didn't even expect it to even trend the way it did. Because with trail rides, like I was going to them like since I was a kid, and once it got mainstream, I didn't even get upset. Like a lot of people was trying to get upset and everything, talk about gatekeeping and all that. It's like, no, people need to know about this type of culture. Because again, it's like anytime you see us together, they always assume the worst. Every time. And if anybody don't believe me, you can go to my page, you can go to the recent reel that I did on the trail ride and just read the comments. And just read them. But when we're able to put that positive image out there, when we're able to put that different side of Black people that isn't shown, that's the result. So, like, in all honesty, like, I'm hoping that we're able to get to what they're doing with Ballet Charm, because they're able to, again, like, bring people together. It's like, okay, like, look, it's Sunday. Hey, let's get the grill out. Let's get the speakers out, man. Let's just have a good time. 'Cause, like, that's definitely how it used to be, growing up. And I was like, I miss that. Because now it's just like everybody's, like they all like they are on the move, but then also like some folks do want to keep themselves distant from their family because they want to keep a certain image. And that certain image is like you're always trying to get that third party pleasing. And it's like, bro, like, do you really need that third party validation that bad to where that you're not even willing to communicate with certain people just because it look bad on your image? Again, I know everybody's situation is different. But when you're distinctively just keeping your distance away from your family just because they don't make enough money, or they don't drive this, they don't drive this, that materialism, man, like it's getting the best of us, and slowly it's eroding at us. So I'm hoping like within the next 10 years, like that image is fully reversed, man, because end of the day, we're not taking none of that stuff with us. The materialism, like when it boils down to, is like what comes beneath that. Like what value comes along with that. Like, are you sharing? Like not even sharing with your family. Like, are you having time with your family? Do people get to spend time with you? But instead, it's like what's more important is driving that BMW that costs about 250, 300,000 just to be seen as that dude or that woman. I don't knock it. But personally, I miss that sense of family cookouts that we used to have growing up, man.
Yeah, that's well said. I think we can all like it's just awesome to be around people, who share similar values. And I think when you step outside the country, you step out of your circumstance and you're able to go see people in different places and how they live, you really start to put into like perspective, like what's truly important. So definitely appreciate you sharing that, bro. We had a time down there, but now the new year that came in is 2026. So Daryl, what you got planned for 2026? Any like big moves you about to make? Any trips you got planned? Let us know.
Honestly, so actually, like, Black Travel Summit, the reason we went down there, that event opened a whole lot of damn doors. A whole lot of doors. So if you find yourself in the travel space and you're a travel creator, or hell, you just want to be around Black creators, please go to those events. Go to those events because I learned so much from them events. We still communicate with the people that we met. We still got our group chat, and it's active. We have met quality people out there that is after the same things we are, which is growing our brand, traveling the world, and having a good time in life. Also, even with the most recent one with Black Travel Alliance, again, opportunities just knocking at the door. So it's like so to get to where I'm going, I don't know yet because I'm trying to figure that out. Because it's like I got opportunity over here, I got opportunity over here, and to be quite honest, I don't have enough PTO to cover all that. So I gotta sit here and strategically get this figured out. I'm like, okay, where am I gonna go? How do I prioritize this? Because again, between Black Travel Summit and Black Alliance, they have offered me so much opportunity, and I am forever grateful and humble for that, man. So to sit here and complain about not having PTO is a freaking blessing. So in due time, I'll definitely get that figured out. But as of right now, I honestly don't know.
Well, if you're not doing anything in June, come with us to Bali.
Plug him in. Plug him in.
Bet.
Yeah, a lot of the people from the group are actually a lot of people that I talk to in the group are talking about making their way to Asia. And I've never stepped foot on a continent. So that's my thing I want to get to this year. So I'm just trying to figure out like how we gonna line it up. But we about to figure some stuff out because just coming back off that Brazil trip, I believe that we both were changed. And I really like just give you opportunity, just kind of like just give us your final thoughts on that, Daryl. Like, what was your biggest takeaways from going to a country like Brazil, and how did you come back changed?
All right, man. So okay, so for like those who don't know me, so like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I had to have brain surgery. So even previous to that, I was not traveling. So a few months ago, going to Brazil, like that was actually my first trip in a few years. And honestly, one, it woke up the travel side of me, but also it just reactivated, not even activate, I would say it activated the side of me again I did not know existed, because to hear the history of the Afro Brazilians and what they went through, it literally mirrors what we have gone through in the States. Honestly, like the biggest thing that differentiates us is that they have not had that civil rights movement yet. That's the only difference that I honestly see. But other than that, the segregation, the social treatment, as if like they're the bottom of the bottom. I was like, yo, like this, they getting treated the same way. I was just like, okay, so seeing how people again from a different country getting treated the same way as we do in the States, I was just like, okay, it's definitely time just to keep things moving, because at the end of the day, it's like you can sit here and play victim all day, but it's like no, it's like there's some moves that need to be made. I was definitely say me doing my part as a creator to show and shed light and to be able to show people across the world that there is a different side to Brazil, or whatever continent that we end up touching grounds on, and we're able to add a little bit more paint and more color to that image, but again, also talking to the brands at Black Travel Summit, like a lot of those individuals, there was a lot of powerful people in attendance, and I'm just talking just on the stage. I mean, I'm talking like that was in attendance as guests. I'm sitting over here like, wow, like we have a lot of powerful individuals with like some real powerful accolades there, but yet everybody was humble. I mean, you didn't
Yeah,
even like people didn't even they weren't even like, being braggadocious or bodacious about who they were. They were just like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm such and such. Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's good, bro?" Everybody was just cool. So for me, it's like I want to find more people like that. I want to be able to filter out my own screening when it comes to people, and be able to gravitate towards people more like that. And again, it's like it's not in the sense of trying to diminish anybody, like who they are. No, definitely not doing that. But I'm just talking about far as people who are collectively trying to make the image of Black people in America, or Black people across the globe and throughout the diaspora, a positive one. So seeing how Marty, she was the person who had curated the entire trip, seeing how much that she had done to do that, that gave like honestly, like that gave me enough momentum for me to keep going. So not to get caught up in the, oh, this brand doesn't want to work with me, this brand doesn't want to work with me, or I got this, I got a job, it takes up a lot of time. It's like, nah, bro. It's like if this woman can sit here and plan this freaking event to the T the way she did, I have no excuse. So really, it really boils down to the people that we have met, especially some of the locals that we were able to meet down there as well, and I'm still in contact with as well. It gives you a different sense of perspective, and for me, it just added more value to my life, and it really gave me a whole lot of momentum to continue what I'm doing right now.
no, definitely, definitely appreciate you sharing that because that's something that I think that's been passed around a lot. People have been talking about just gatekeeping and how, people are trying to shut doors on people. But going to an event like Black Travel Summit really just opened up a lot of doors and people was willing to have a conversation with you and just be real with you. So shout out to all the fam at Daryl, let the people know where they can find you at. I appreciate your content because yeah, this dude be like you can find him at a trail ride and he might be in Dubai, right?
Right.
So, he do it all. So yeah, let the people know where they can find you, bro.
All right, fam. So you can find me at Takeoff with Daryl. That's all across Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. That's where you can find me. Also, whether I'm abroad or whether I'm doing local events, it's always just to be able to showcase, always just to be able to just showcase us just doing some great things, but just also more importantly, for you to live your life. Life is meant to be lived. I understand everybody has responsibilities. We all have responsibilities. We all have jobs. I mean, Matt is at his job right now, so that should let you know to add value to your life, man, because at the end of the day, we do not know when we're going to leave this place. And the only thing I ask you to do, sit back and think, if yesterday was your last day on this planet, how would you feel about your life? And whatever answer that you come up with, let that guide you into how you're going to move the next day, man. Because again, brothers, like, we need to live our life. We are more than a paycheck. We are more than a provider. You are an individual. People need to be able to see the value that you have. People need to see the value that you're putting out here into the world, into your job, into your kids. They need to see that, man. So don't forget to reward yourself, fam. You need this.
Oh yeah, you can follow the Travel Hour podcast on Instagram at the Travel Hour, Travel Hour Pod, POD. On Instagram, YouTube, you can find us using that hashtag, that handle, and TikTok. Give us some grace on TikTok. That's new space for us, and we're still maneuvering and navigating through that. But those are the platforms that you can find us on. You can find us on all podcast streaming platforms at the Travel Hour. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at according to the TO, not the number, MP according to MP. Also tap in with me on YouTube. Matt P is my YouTube channel.
Well, appreciate y'all, Travel Hour fam. We'll be back with another one, but until
Wait a
then,
minute,
the
John, you
world
got to
is
tell them where they
yours.
can find you at.
Well, before y'all find that, you can't find me. Don't look for me, no, this plan. Yeah, let me, see, this is what happens when you take a 2-year break, y'all. But look, I definitely am on the gram, so you can find me there, chasing_zig. So definitely tap in with us and make sure y'all follow the Travel Hour Pod because both our Instagram pages are up there. And then also, too, we have dropped a new website. So travelhour.org is where you can also get everything in one place and tap in with us as well. So we're excited about that, y'all. And like I said, Travel Hour fam, we signing out, but always remember the world is yours.